Hello everyone and welcome to I'll Be Sewing. My name is Gina and today I'm going to be showing how to make this little bag. I actually posted on Facebook last week and it seems like there's a few people interested in seeing the tutorial, so then I decided to do a tutorial for you guys. So this little bag, I mean, you can use it literally for anything. If you like traveling, this is great to put all your stuff in it, you know, from makeup and shampoo or whatever you want to decide to put in there, you could, as a cute little bag. If you have a baby, this is also would go really nice in your diaper bag, so you can put extra stuff, some clothes or even, you know, diapers. If you're just going like quickly out and you don't want a big bag, you can take something like this, just a couple diapers and some cream, and you know, you can also do that as a small bag. Also for sewing, you can put all your sewing stuff in there. If you go to classes or retreats, it's a great bag to do that. So all the materials that I used here, this is bunny hop from Lois and Irene, and we do have this on the website. We also have the zippers by the yard and all the hardware that we used on the project, also the mesh. So if you like these projects and you would like to see more projects, you can always subscribe to our channel. You also can click that little bell so you get notified when we post a new video. So let's get started with some measurements. I will be putting the measurements on the bottom of the video. Like if you go on the bottom of the description, we'll be putting some measurements. But you can also pick up a pen and paper, and you can go through with me through the measurements that I will be saying right now. So we're going to start with steps, with simple stuff, and I will be showing you in the bag the pieces that go with the bag so you understand where everything fits in. Okay, so let's get started. I'm just going to open the bag and just show you more or less what it looks like first. So if I open it here, it opens like this, and I have a flap that goes here, and the flap has a pocket. So like I said, if it was, you could put some stuff in here, makeup stuff, or you know, if it's for a baby, you can put creams, or you know, anything that you need. And then if you open it here on the inside, I also have some pockets, as you see, with mesh to just divide things a little bit in there. I have mine opens to both sides, but you can just put one. You don't have to put two. In my case, I put mine this way. So this is what it looks like. So we're going to start with some measurements with some pieces of the fabrics that we need for this bag. And so this particular one is from Lois and Irene, and it's bunny hop, and the one that I'm going to be using on the project is a North Cot, and it's called No Ordinary Cats. That's the fabric that I'll be using for my next one. So let's get started here with some of the fabric. So we'll start with the ties, these two ties. The two pieces that I have here for the ties are, let's see, let's grab them. So I have two of them. And these are 2 inches by 15 inches. So I have two pieces. I'm going to put it here to the side. Then we're going to go to the handle on the tabs. And for those pieces I have here, the tab is one piece, 4 by 4, and we're going to be cutting this into two to give me the two tabs. And also for the handle, I have a piece here that's 16 by 4 also. And I also have a piece of R-form, and this is fusible foam that we're going to be using in here to make it a little bit thicker, so the handle is more sturdy and more has a little bit more body, more to it. Okay, so we have that, and then of course we have the 2D rings and the swivel hooks. That's our hardware that's going to be on the handle. So we're going to also put that to the side. Okay, so for our flap here that we have here, we have, let's see, I have two pieces. One is going to be my lining and one is going to be my outside fabric. And the pieces that I have here are 17 by 9, and what we're going to do, we're going to round them up later on. And I also, what I did, I cut a piece of foam, our form also. I fused already to my outside fabric, and I already quilted. As you see, I did the grid and I quilted, so it's ready to go. So I have that. It's going to go to the side. For my pocket on the flap, I have one zipper. And the zipper that I have here is 9.5. I probably will trim it down later. And these are the zippers that we have by the yard. This is a size 5 zipper. Then for my pocket, I have a piece of mesh, and it's 5 by 9. And then to finish the pocket and add the zippers, I have 3 pieces here of fabric. And the pieces that I have here are they're 2 by 9, so 2 inches by 9 length, because they have to go the same width as the pocket. Okay, so it's here. So that's our flap. Then for the bag itself, we have one zipper, and the zipper that I have here is 13 inches. And as you see, I also have 2 zipper pulls. I'm using the same thing, a size 5 zipper. And these are fairly easy to put in. They're not hard. You buy them separate. These are hearts. We also have little flowers and different ones on the website. You guys can check it out. So you just put it in, the round part in. You get the other side. You put it in also. You adjust a little bit, making sure your fabric of your zipper from here to here is straight. Then you just kind of tuck it in, and it goes in. So very simple, not complicated to put it on. Anybody can do it. It takes a little bit of practice. I'm not going to lie to you, in the beginning it does take a little bit of practice, but I'm sure you can do it. Okay, that's the zipper. Then for my lining, I have 2 pieces, 10.5 by 15. So I have that and that. For my pocket, that's going to be the mesh on the inside, I have a 7.5 by 15. And to finish that mesh, I have a little piece here that's 2 inches by 15. Then for your outside fabric, what I have here, I have 2 pieces. That's 10.5 by 15. That's 1 and 2. And what I did with these pieces already, as you see, I already fused them with our form, the foam that I was talking about that's fusible to one side, and it's called our form by Bossel. So I have 2 pieces here already, and I already quilted and got it ready to go. As you see, I did a grid and I just quilted, and but you can do anything, or if you don't want to quilt it, you don't really have to either, because it fuses and you sew it down on the edges so it stays. Okay, so this is all the pieces now that you need to make the bag, this bag. So we're gonna get started now. As we started with the fabrics, we're gonna start on the same kind of directions. We're gonna start putting all the pieces together. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and start with the tabs and the handle. We're gonna get that out of the way. So what I have here, I have my tab and my handle. So what I'm gonna go ahead and fold this in half. Okay, and then you're gonna bring it to the middle, like that. And after you press that down really nicely like that, you're gonna fold it like that. Okay, just like that. So you're gonna end up something like this. Then what you're gonna do, you're gonna open it. Okay, so what I'm going to do to make it a little easier to explain the edge, how to finish the edge, I'm actually going to press this part first and then come back and show you when I'm going to put the foam and stuff. Probably will be a little easier to understand. So I'm going to do that to that, and I'll be back. So, and at the same time, while I go to the iron and press this, I'm also going to take my tab that's 4.5, that's 4 by 4, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold it in half, bring it to the middle, fold it like this, and this one we don't have to do anything. All we have to do is a top stitch here and here, or if you want to quilt a little bit more, you can also quilt a little bit more, and then we're gonna fold this in half and cut it into 2 pieces. Okay, so that's my tab. For the ties, the little bag, I have the 2x15 pieces, and again we're gonna do exactly the same thing we did there. We're gonna fold in half, half, and half, and then half again, just like that. So you're gonna end up with something like that, pressed. Okay, so right now I'm just gonna kind of press with my fingers just to show. So of course it's gonna go all the way to the end, both of them. And one of them, the side, what we're gonna do, we're gonna flip this to the wrong side, sew here, and then using the markings that we had there from the iron, we're gonna flip it back like this, and then in and in and in again after it's sewed. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that to both of my tabs and iron this one here, and then come back and show you how to put this on. Okay, we'll be right back. So I'm back. I finished my ties. They're here, and I have my tab here. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna cut this into 2 pieces. Cut it in half. And that's one for here. And by the way, my hardware is 1 inch. I forgot to mention. So I'm gonna leave this ready to go here, already to the side to be attached. And we're probably still gonna trim it down a little bit when we sew it in. Okay. So the handle. So I iron it and iron it to the middle, and there again this way like this. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my foam and I'm gonna cut about a little shorter than the edges. I would say about so we had about 15, maybe about 2 inches. We're gonna trim it down. So we don't want it to go right into the seam. We want it to stay away from the seam. So then we're going to open this here, and we're going to go ahead and fuse this in one of these folds in here. So you're going to push it in and fuse like that. And then to finish this edge, we're going to do this. We're going to, after this is fused here, so if you see, if I take this, I'm gonna bring my fabric out, do a seam like this, and then move this back in again with this here fused in here, and then we're gonna refold it. See, we're gonna refold that like that with the foam in between there. And it's not going to go all the way to the end. It's going to have a little part here that doesn't have any foam. We're going to go like that and refold all of this and press it. And we need to do this here to both ends. So both ends are finished. So I go to this end, I flip it to the side, I sew it, and then refold it again like we did on this side. And then press really well and do a top stitch in both sides, here and here. In my case, sometimes I even do another one in the middle because I kind of like the look of it. Alright, so that's the handle. So I'm going to take this to the sewing machine to finish, but at the same time when I go there, I'm going to start preparing the pocket for my flap. So I'm going to put this to the side so I can take it to the sewing machine after. I'm going to get my zipper and the pieces that I need for my flap. So I have my zipper here, and I have 3 pieces here. That's 2 by 9. So one of the pieces, two of the pieces, you're going to do exactly the same thing. You're going to go fold. Okay, let's fold this in half. And then fold in and fold in and do it like that. So you end up with something like that. Then one side of your zipper, it's going to go in there like that. And you're going to sew, okay, this side like that. All right, and then this one here, we're going to do the second one that we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to go ahead and fold. Let's put this here. So we're going to go ahead, fold, fold in the middle, and the middle, and fold again, just like that. And we're going to feed the bottom of our mesh in there. And do a seam. Alright, so I'm going to go do these two pieces and I'll be right back and show you how to attach the zipper. So I'm back. So I sew one piece in the bottom of the mesh here and one piece on the top of the zipper. So we need to attach the zipper to that. So we're going to get the other piece that we had left and we're going to put it down. We're going to get the zipper on top of right sides together. I'm going to put it like that, and we're going to get our mesh and we're going to put also like that, and we're going to go ahead and sew a seam there. So I'm just going to put pins so you can see what it looks like after it's sewed in, so I can show you the next step. So we're just sandwiching the zipper in between the mesh and the other piece of fabric. After that's sewed, you're going to end up with something like this. Okay? Something like this. Then you're going to go ahead and fold this here and fold again. And you're going to go ahead and do a top stitch here and here to have that like that. Okay? And then our pocket will be done. We also gonna prepare the pocket for the bag, for the inside bag that we have the mesh, and I'm just gonna grab it. So while I go to the sewing machine, I already have them done. So let me grab that piece. So I have it here. And we're gonna do the same thing that we did on this mesh part here. So we're gonna fold, fold, fold like that, and then insert the mesh in there and sew it across. Okay? So we're gonna do that to one of the sides of the mesh. The bottom doesn't need, because it's gonna be on the bottom of the bag. Alright, so I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. So I'm back. Did my pocket here. And I also have my strap here that I didn't show you before. So this now goes in here. And because the foam didn't go all the way to the end of the fabric, so it's not too thick here, so we can sew it across here, no problem. Or you can use a rivet to put it in place. So for now, I'm just gonna put a pin until I take it to the sewing machine to sew. Okay, strap is done. Those are done. So back to the pocket. We're gonna go ahead now, before we do this, we're gonna go ahead and open this up here and put that in. So curve side in to one side when you open a little bit, then you slide this side in like a curve in, adjust the pole until you have your fabrics pretty much flat across, and then you just put a little pull and it goes right in. I'm not gonna lie, it takes a little practice. The first few times it might not be as easy, but you can do it. I mean, it's not that hard. I'm gonna trim my zipper because I don't need it to be long anymore. Put to the side, and my pocket is ready. So now I'm gonna go get my flap that I have here, and so I'm gonna get some curves going. So I'm gonna pay attention to my direction of the fabric, because this is gonna go on the front, so I want to make sure it's gonna look good. I'm using a creative grid ruler that has curves, but you can use a plate, a cup, anything that you have around that you can curve these edges here. So it doesn't need to be anything special. So I'm gonna go ahead here. I'm just gonna draw a line and then trim it. So go ahead, put my ruler there. I'm gonna do the same thing to the black here, because this is polka dots, this doesn't really matter. So in order for me to see the line, it will be a little easier here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead now, attach my pocket to my flap, and to do that, we're gonna mark, could be about 4 inches up, about 4 inches up, and we're gonna draw a line. Okay, I can't see my line. I'm gonna need to get another. So what I'm gonna do is put the ruler there and put my pocket there on the 4-inch, and do that. I think it's a little high, so I'm gonna go a little bit lower. I'm gonna go 3.5. So 3.5 from the bottom up. The curve is over there, and I'm gonna put this pocket here. And get some pins and pin it in place. Since black, my thing is not exactly working. Okay, make sure it's still straight. Okay, so now I know that's straight. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a seam here across to secure that in place. And this part here also, I take the measuring out. Also, I'm gonna push this up, straighten it up, and also do a seam here on the top here, the top one, not the bottom, just the top. So where I'm gonna put the pins. So I'm back. I saw my pocket like that. So now you're gonna get this part here. You're gonna find the middle here. Just gonna trim a little piece here. Middle. Now get one of your ties, and the part that's finished, you don't put it there. The part that's not finished, you're gonna center to the middle, and you're gonna secure it, and then you're gonna get your lining, gonna put on top of each other, and you're gonna go ahead and sew this all the way around. You can leave this part open to turn inside out. So sew around and leave this part here open to turn inside out, and we'll be right back. So I finished my flap, so I sewed it around, turned it inside out, and I already went ahead and did a top stitch all the way around here. So my flap is done, so I'm gonna put it to the side, and we're gonna start working on the body of the bag. Okay, just gonna put this to the side. And so now you're gonna grab your 2 pieces of your side fabric, and make sure if you're using direction fabric, your pattern is going this way. You have your fabric going up, because this is going to be your bottom, so you want this to be like this up. So I'm gonna mark, instead of marking on this side, I'm gonna mark on the wrong side of my fabric so you guys can see better. But you can also mark on this side, it doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna turn one piece here. And the bottom of my bag, where it's going to be the base, I'm going to mark 2 inches. So I'm going to get my ruler here. I'm going to go 2 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and do a little square. This side here. And the top here, I'm going to do 1.5. So I'm going to go 1.5, 1.5. Alright, so you're going to repeat what we did here to your other side here, to this other one here. We're going to do the same thing. 2, 2, 1.5, 1.5, and also to the 2 pieces of our lining. So I'm going to do the same thing. So 2 inches, 1.5, 1.5, and 2 inches. After you marked all your corners, you're going to go ahead and cut them. Okay, so our pieces are ready. So now we're gonna get one of the pieces of the lining, and we're gonna add our pocket, the inside pocket. So we had prepared ahead the pocket earlier. So oh, I forgot to cut one here. Let's trim this piece. So the part that we cut 2 inches is going to be the bottom, so we're going to put that there. And we're going to grab our pocket piece, and we're going to set it up on top here. And we're going to go ahead and so match the bottom here to the top. And we're going to go ahead and put a seam here, here, here. Like, we're going to pull this a little bit. This is got stretched up a little bit. Here, here, here. And then you're going to go ahead and trim this little square off. Then you're going to divide the pocket however you want to. You can divide it in 3, in 2, however you want it to divide. In my case, I think I'm going to divide it in 3. I'm going to do 1 seam here and 1 seam here. And I'm also, you know, where you see where we're going to be cutting this part off here. This square here also, where we're going to be cutting this part here. I'm also going to do a seam across here, because this is going to be part of the bottom of the bag, so we don't really need anything to go right to the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and sew a seam here. So I'm going to take this to my sewing machine, and I'll be right back. So I'm back. I sew my pocket, and I did 3 divisions. There's there and there. And as you see, I always secure it here, so now I can cut that off, my corner. So I also sew a seam across here, so this is where my pocket is gonna stop. So it's not gonna go down to the bottom of the bag. So now we're ready to add our zipper. So we're gonna get our front piece. So the 2 inches that we cut is the bottom, so we're gonna go here to the top. I have my zipper here, and as you see it's a little bit bigger, but it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna go ahead and take my zipper pulls because I prefer to sew my zipper without the pulls. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go my right side of the zipper down to the fabric like that, and then I'm gonna got my piece here, my lining, and I'm gonna go and head and sandwich it. Again, the same thing, the 2 inches has to go to the bottom, and this is the 1.5 to the top. And we're gonna match this part here, and we're gonna pin it and sew it. If it's easier for you, if you have a hard time sewing zippers, what you can do is sew the zipper first to this part here, then put your lining and sew it again. Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and do that. I'm just gonna put a couple pins just to show you what it'll be like after it's done. So this would have been my seam. Then you're gonna turn this to this side here, and you're gonna go ahead and do a top stitch just like that. After you've done your top stitch, you're gonna grab your other piece, again paying attention that the side that's gonna go to the zipper is the one that has 1.5 that we cut here in the top. I'm gonna put that down. Zipper again is gonna go on top, and make sure now you match your part here. So this part of the zipper is gonna go there. Again, you're either gonna sew it first and add your lining after, or you can do it all in 3 if you can, and then you would grab your lining. Same thing, the 1.5 here, the 1.5 here would go here, on top here, with right sides and right sides. And again, I'm just gonna put it with some pins just to show you. This would be my seam. And then you're gonna end up with something like this. And also you're gonna do your a top stitch around here. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this part, and I'll come back so we can start the corners. So I sew my zipper. I already put my zipper pulls in, and I also trimmed the zipper to the sides here, so now it's even. And now what we have to do, we have to, let's see, figure out what side you want your pocket to be. So I want my pocket to be in the back, and this is going to be my front. So I want my flap, I need to attach my flap now, to come from the back. So if this is my back, where I have my pocket, I'm going to go ahead and fold this here, and I'm going to find the middle. Just going to trim a little bit there so I know where my middle is, right there. And I'm also going to find the middle of the flap. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and match the middle to this middle here, but just the front, not my lining, just the front side. Okay, the lining is going to stay loose. So make sure I have this marked properly. It's right there. And my flap is right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put some pins. Okay. And on this side here, again, just to the front side, not the flap, we're also going to find the middle. Okay, and then we're gonna get our other tie that we remember we did two in the beginning, and we're gonna go ahead and pin that there, right to the middle. Okay. We also gonna need to add the tabs. So I'm gonna open this like with the lining and everything like that. I'm gonna push this to the side and this to the side. I'm gonna find my tabs that I have here. We have done earlier. I'm gonna go ahead and center them to the zipper, and I'm gonna go ahead and pin them. Oh. If you have clips work really good on here. I'm using pins, is what I have here right now, the pin cushion, but you can definitely put a clip, maybe it will be a little easier. Go ahead and there. So after you secure that to your outside fabric and your tab, your tie and your little tabs on the side, after you secure all of those, then we're going to put the bag together. And to put the bag together, we're going to bring the two fronts, the outside fabrics together, and our lining in there with all the extra tab and fabric into the middle so we don't sew it. And you're going to go ahead and then sew a seam here to the sides. So I'm just going to put a couple pins. Guess I could have grabbed my clips, but it's okay. So there. So match them and sew them. Make sure you don't have anything else. You're going to do the same to the lining. We're going to sew the sides. And the bottom here, we also need to sew across, but we're going to need about maybe 4 to 5 inches opening here so we can turn our bag inside out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do all those pieces, and I bring it back and show you how to do your corners. So I'm back. I sew all the sides, so all I have to do now is my corners here. So normally we're going to do these corners pretty much the same way that we do any other corners that we've done in other bags. So what we're going to do, we're just going to bring this part here together, match the seam. I normally fold one to each side, so like that, one to one side and one to the other side, and you can either put a pin or a clip. Okay, I'll do the same thing here. And since this one is folded, this side here of my bottom is folded to this side, you want to fold this one also to the same side, so this part here stays straight. And this one here, we're going to fold it to the other direction. So we're going to put it there and have them there. Go ahead and put a pin or clips, whatever you have available. Like that. And those are ready to sew. We're going to do the same thing to the bottom. Match the seam, one to each side. Okay, and then we have these ones here by the zipper. So it's the same idea. You're going to bring the middle of the zipper to the seam here, and I normally like to opening the seam since it's quite thick, so I'm going to fold my seam there. And then the lining, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to open it and going to bring this seam that we have here right in the middle of the zipper like that. Okay, so we have that layer there, and that one there, and we're gonna go ahead and sew this across here, just like that. So I'm just gonna put a couple of pins here. This is gonna be thick, so I would suggest you using a size maybe like a size 16 needle, or even a walking foot, because it will make the layers a little easier to sew. And just take your time like that, and we're gonna do the same to this side. Same thing, zipper to the middle. I'm gonna open my seam so it's not as bulky, and I'm gonna bring that there also and fold it across, and I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple pins. Okay, so I'm gonna sew all my corners, and I'll be right back and turn it inside out. So I'm back. I sew all my corners, and I'm gonna turn it inside out. So now go ahead, we're gonna need to open that zipper. If you're not using one of these zippers like what I use here by the yard, you might want it, before you sew everything around, might want to open a little bit the zipper so it'll be a little easier to take it inside out. So I'm gonna go ahead, pull my flap, and then bring the corners out. Okay, checking if everything is centered correctly before I close my lining. So there's my lining, my pockets. You can see inside. And there's the flap. Okay, so if you want to add a handmade tag like I did to here, to mine here that I have here, you can add it now before you close the lining. If not, you can just go ahead and sew that lining. You can either sew that lining by hand or by machine. So it's up to you how you want to sew that lining. I'm just going to go ahead and have a look here. So my lining, I still have to sew it. So here it's done. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this across. But for now, I leave it here. I can do that after, like that. So now I'm going to close my zipper and bring my tab around like that, and this one around. There we go. And I didn't sew my tab here because I'm just going to add a rivet, but it's pretty much that's the way it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to here. Oops, poke myself, and like that. So her little bag is done. I think this is a really cute one too. I really love the little cat fabric. It's really adorable. So I hope you like this project. If you do, you can always, you can subscribe to the channel for more projects like this. Also click that little bell to get notifications when new videos are up. And you can also check the website for all these beautiful fabrics and weekly. And we'll see you next time. Happy sewing, everyone.